What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. We're pumping out 3 videos a week right now, so we don't want you to miss out on any of those future videos. So make sure you're subscribed, notifications, all that good stuff is on. But today we're going to talk about, one of probably everybody's favorite way to catch a bass is a topwater. It's so exciting. You get to see the blow up. It's you just get to see the blow up. It's generally very aggressive and it catches some really big fish, especially in the fall time of year. And we're going to go through 3 of my favorite hacks for fall topwater fishing, things I like to do. So this is a brand new bait right out of the package, and I'm going to kind of walk you through 3 hacks that I do to this bait before we get out on the water that'll help you catch some more bass. All right, so first up, right out of the package, when I get a new topwater, the first thing I'm doing is changing out the treble hooks. So I carry a box of treble hooks in the boat, and then I got some extras hanging on the wall here in the garage. So whenever I'm in the garage, I always try and use the ones that are hanging up. That way I don't kind of take from my stock that I keep in the boat. I like to use the ones hanging up. And this is the Trocar 934. So this is more of a round bend style hook, rather than a EWG style hook. So let me show you that. So you see these, I think I got the Trocar EWG style hook right here, so you can kind of see the difference between the two. You see the EWG style hook, the hook point is almost pointed down a little bit. And I like the round bend style hook where, those hook points are kind of in line with the shank of the hook or with the eye and not pointed in. That way, if a fish just kind of slashes at your topwater, the hook point is actually sticking out a little bit and can hook him, rather than the EWG, that hook point is pointed in a little bit. And I just noticed it helps land some extra fish using the round bend. So that's what I'm using on my topwaters, not the EWG style hook. So I always like to change out those hooks and make sure you get good hooks on there. So, changing out treble hooks is pretty simple if you have the right tools. Ow. There's tons of different split ring pliers out there. These are just a little pair that I keep in my treble hook box. Fish USA makes a great pair. Cuda makes a great pair. There's so many different options, but having a good pair of split ring pliers really cuts down on the aggravation and prevents you from getting a hook in the hand, because sometimes changing out treble hooks can be a little difficult if you don't have the right tools. So I got the front hook changed out. Now, this is going to be a little specific to the situation. Sometimes so I'm going to go back on what I just said. I carry some feathered treble hooks in my box right here. So I don't have the time to go tie up a new one right now. So if I wanted to put a feathered treble hook, I'm going to have to rob one out of my box. And I think I'm going to do that just for this video, just because I want to add a little bit different look to this bait. So number 1 hack for fall topwater fishing is going to be changing out the hooks. And for me, we're going to kind of dive into the retrieve here in a moment. And that's where this, if I can get him on there, see what I mean about getting a hook in the hand? I mean, this can be some dangerous stuff. I didn't spin this hook on far enough. That's my issue there. Okay, I got him now. Let's get the feather treble hook on. And this is going to come into play, like I said, in a minute for number 3, hack number 3, whenever I talk about kind of the retrieve for this bait. So there we go. We got those hooks off. And got us some new Trocar treble hooks on there. This is one that I tied the feathers on the back. But the cool thing about tying your own feathered treble hooks is you can adjust, obviously, the size of the hook. So you can tie it on whatever hook you want. You can adjust the length of the feathers. You can adjust the color of the feathers. You can add flash. You can add whatever you want to that hook to specific baits. If I wanted to add a little blue or red to match this bait, or even some, kind of a goldish back, I could add all that into the trailer hook, the feathered treble hook at the back, and kind of make this bait really, really pretty. But for me, generally, I just go with a little bit of a white tail. Sometimes I'll add some flash. I think I have some here with some flash. Like you can kind of see that one has some flash in it. That's really, I keep it pretty simple on these. I just think adding the feathered treble hook gives them just another reason to bite that bait, especially when you're working it pretty slow, which we're gonna kind of dive into here in a second. So hack number 1 is changing out the treble hooks. You gotta make sure you do that, because when the fish do bite it, you wanna make sure you hook them and land them. So definitely wanna change out your treble hooks. All right, let's get this box put away here. Okay, where's my topwater rod? So I have a big topwater rigged up on this rod right now, but we're gonna cut him off and rig up this one we're talking about right now in this video. So let's cut him off and I'll show you hack number 2. So hack number 2 is, it kind of goes in along in the equipment of the setup, is I like to throw braided line for my topwater. So this is 40-pound Seaguar Tactics braid. It casts extremely well. You can throw these bigger topwater baits as far as you want to throw them. You could literally spool your reel throwing them. This braid casts so well. But if you're around any type of vegetation, it's going to cut right through that vegetation and handle all that well. Now, let's get to the hack part. I like adding a little bit of a mono leader. So you can see here, I've tied an FG knot and I got 20-pound big game mono tied to my braid. And that just adds a little bit of a cushion between your bait and the braid. One of the worst things about throwing a topwater on straight braid is that front treble hook seems to catch on that braid all the time. So if you add just a short little mono leader like that, it really helps keep that hook from catching on that braided line. So it just saves you aggravation, it helps your bait work better, and it even adds a little layer of stretch to help you not pull those treble hooks out of the fish. But okay, here's a little tip for you. Say you don't have any mono with you or in the boat and you're just throwing straight braid, okay? All you got is straight braid. Here's a little hack for you. You can take some bobber stops. So these are just the Epic Baits football bobber stops. And let's, if I could get it in there. I'm struggling. I might be getting old. I can't see this. So you're going to put these bobber stops on. I always like to go with 3. 3 seems to work best for me when I'm doing this for topwaters. Let's get him on there. Oh, don't want to grab the wrong one. Don't go out of there. Don't do it. All right, there's number 2. I think these rings were pinched shut a little bit because they're not very wide. All right, get 3 split rings on there, and then you can tie your bait on. Okay, so I'm just going to tie a quick little improved clinch knot. Well, I should have left myself some more slack with those bobber stops, but there we go, like that. Now you'll slide these bobber stops down right to the nose of it, and that essentially acts as the same thing as the mono. It helps keep that line away from that hook and getting tangled up in that hook right there. So adding a few bobber stops does the exact same thing as adding the mono leader. So that's a little tip you can do if you don't have any mono in the boat. So now we're rigged up and ready. So let's move on to hack number 3. Okay, hack number 3 is going to involve the retrieve of this bait. Everyone loves throwing a topwater and there's so many different ways you can work this. You know, obviously this is a walk the dogs type bait that's gonna twitch back and forth, but you can really speed up your retrieve or really slow down your retrieve. And for me, when I add the feather treble hook on here, I don't like to speed it up very much. I'm adding that feather treble hook to really slow this bait down and slow the retrieve down. So I'm giving this very slow twitches. You know, I want this bait to dart to one side and almost come to a complete stop, and then twitch it back to the other side. And just as he's coming to a complete stop again, twitch him back to the other side. So it's a very slow dart back and forth. And you'll find, you know, whether you twitch this over a piece of cover or a grass line or a shallow bar or something like that, whenever you give it that real slow retrieve, it generates some of the most explosive bites of the year. So that right there, that's hack number 3 for fall topwater fishing. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Let me know if you get out on the water and try these hacks. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are. So make sure you drop it in the comments as always. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys next time.